Just about a year ago, the University of New Hampshire hockey team faced Boston College and UMass-Lowell in a weekend series, and the set became something of a turning point for the Wildcats. In the two games, they allowed a total of 16 goals, putting into focus the team's defensive deficiencies and perhaps helping to initiate the improvements that keyed UNH's second-half surge. A year later, the Wildcats will take on those Eagles and Riverhawks again this weekend, and, again, they hope to use the series to help turn themselves around. Coming off a dismal weekend at Wisconsin, where they were, well, shellacked, losing 4-1 one night, then 6-1 the next, the Wildcats enter tonight looking to regain some momentum in their return to Hockey East play, according to Coach Dick Umili.
Every game's important, but you obviously need to play well and play with some confidence because we're going on the road here for a while.
Indeed, after tonight, UNH goes on the road for 8 of its next 10 games, a stretch that'll take a young team all the way into the new year. But first, the Cats have got to deal with what's become one of the league's most inconsistent and enigmatic clubs over the last calendar year. The Eagles have no shortage of talent, evidenced by the 11 NHL draft picks on their roster, and they have put it to great use at times, like in last year's Hockey East quarterfinal, when they swept UNH at the Wit. But they weren't good enough to make the NCAA tournament a year ago, and this year have sluggishly started 2-2, most recently falling 5-3 at Merrimack, in a game that was as one-sided as 5-1 before BC scored twice late. Simply put, the Eagles haven't been overly impressive at either end of the ice, with goalie John Muse's save percentage ranking 74th among the 75 Division I netminders with enough minutes, and none of BC's once fearsome forwards having yet exploded offensively. But still, Captain Peter LeBlanc is among the UNH veterans well aware the Eagles have the capability to turn everything around in one night.
I expect we're going to be hungry. I think BC will be very hungry as well after the loss to Merrimack. So I think it's going to be two teams that are hungry for a win, two skilled teams, played very similar. We know each other very well, obviously, and I think it's going to be a good weekend.
The second half of the weekend forces UNH to go to Lowell's Songus Arena, a place they've traditionally struggled, and opposed by a team that's delivering on the promise it carried into the year. After winning 20 games a season ago, and returning much of the team that came within a goal of the Hockey East tournament title, many expected the Riverhawks would continue to emerge this year and maybe even contend for the conference crown. So far, they look like a legit threat. Each of their goalies, Carter Hutton and Nevin Hamilton, possesses a save percentage of at least .900 and a goals against average at 2.50 or below, and half a dozen players have at least 5 points through the season's first 6 games. That has left UNH with a huge challenge to get ready for this weekend, not only from Lowell and not only from BC, but first and foremost from themselves. After last week's struggles, Umili said his team isn't capable of competing with a team of Wisconsin's caliber right now, but he's hopeful that by February his Wildcats will be good enough to hang in with anybody. And sophomore Stevie Moses hopes that turnaround can start to begin on Friday night.
You always want to get better every week, and that's every time we talk about it, we say how we want to be the best later in the season, and right now we got a lot of work to do, obviously. But I remember last year we had a tough November, a very, very tough November, and we moved on fine from it. So, I mean, we take it as it is, and it was a terrible weekend, but I think we learned a lot from it. And we'll move forward here with 2 big league games against BC and Lowell.